Hey guys, it's Kevin with Blipmatch, and welcome to part 2 of my Loyal Vigil playthrough for Netherwatch the board game. If you're new to this and you haven't seen the first part, you can go look for part 1. It shows what we've done throughout the entire discovery phase of the game, which is the first part. Right now, we're just at the end of the discovery phase, about to move into the confrontation phase. There's also a setup video if you want to start from the very beginning. If you're looking for a Netherwatch playthrough, then go over to the Explore It YouTube channel, where Jonathan, the lead developer on this game, is basically shows a whole playthrough of the base game of Netherwatch. But this is Loyal Vigil specifically. So to get back into it, we had just ended our turn for the Doberman and the tracker. They were both out of actions. I had not done this yet, so I will resolve the fate event at the end of the turn, because this will all lead into sort of what we do next. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this, and we're going to put it in here and see where we end up. So if I look here, okay, so dormant. Your legs feel anchored from fear or something else. You cannot tell. The next active agent moves one less zone during move actions, minimum of 1. And if it's a 4 or a 5, if that agent has spent a unique ability, move it to ready. So the last one to play was the tracker. The unique ability is spent, which means that now we are gaining it back. So that is a huge boon. Not that we'll be using that because it's all about clues and investigations. But hey, if we have to use the investigate action, well, then we'll be able to use that. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure what the demon is going to be. I hope it's Azazel. Haven't read the card, but we'll read that together if it is. All right, so that's it. And now we just have to remember that we have this little bit of a reduced movement. I don't know how I'm going to remember that, but we're going to say the next, it's supposed to be the next agent that moves. So I'll just try to remember that it's one zone less. Not that it matters, because if the demon's out, but see, they're not going to be out this turn, so it will actually matter. Okay, so now we're going to now start the confrontation phase, because we are essentially ready to go. We've found the 6 rifts. We found the ranger's office and unlocked it. And we have also gained all the items we need on the tracker for the banishment. Hoping it's that one. If not, well, we're going to have to escape through the ranger's office. But we should maybe plan to be more on that side. But I find HQ is fairly close to it. It's not so bad. Now, since when we start the confrontation phase, we will essentially be pushed directly into the manifested actions track, it is worth it for us to play as many dormant actions as we can right now. I could technically use the Doberman right now, do some actions with it, but I don't think I will, because there's a chance that if I play through this, that the demon will come out on the next draw. I don't want to have to go through that process again. So I think the tracker is going to play now. I'm going to start by first and foremost using the adrenal syringe. I was going to keep it, but I think it's worth using simply because I just want to get my sanity back up. So this will be a 4 sanity gain. So it's going to bring the tracker back up to 8. And the demon is not manifested, so I don't become the target. And then on a 1 or a 2, there's another thing as well, but it's not a 1 or a 2, so it doesn't matter. So I've now used the adrenal syringe. So the tracker is back to full sanity. The Doberman is already full sanity. So I believe now we are good to start. So the next action I'm going to do for the tracker is going to be to move her over to a rift. Now, she can move 3. If I want to move more than 3, I need another action, and I won't be able to start the confrontation this turn. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to rift number 1. And at the same time, let's see. So the Doberman's very close, so there's no issue there. And yeah, I think that's probably the place to start. So we're going to go use the final action to use the Circle of Malice here. So it says use adjacent to a rift. Oh, sorry. Okay, so actually I'm going to move 1, 2, 3 to get a little closer to the Doberman for protection. And I will use adjacent to a rift. without a ward and on your floor, then discard. So I discard this card, and then I place the summoning circle on the rift. So the rift, it goes here where the number 1 is. And we must now do the official reveal. So it has to be the Striga or however you pronounce that, or Azazel. If it's not, then we're in big trouble. It shouldn't be the Striga based on what I looked at. Hopefully it's Azazel, but if it's the Vitala or something else, then we're in big trouble. But let's see what it is. So here's how you reveal. You go into the box, you look at the card, and the big reveal is... Okay, so you take it out like this as a surprise. The circle trembles, burning with an otherworldly glow. The ground shudders as though the earth itself recoils from what approaches. From the silence beyond, a presence gathers, and before you stands... Oh, yes, we got it. Azazel. Perfect. Okay, so that means I did the puzzles correctly, which is what I thought from the beginning. But there's always that little bit of doubt. And see, we got a little bit tricked on the light aversion thing because it must have been a generic card when it turned off the lights. So at least now we know it's Azazel, so we have succeeded at that. So we're going to put the Malice Circle back into the Essential Items deck since we don't need that anymore. Just gets discarded. So we have the Athame of Absolution, the Binding Chains, and the Seal of Anathema. So the first thing we do is we are now in the confrontation phase. So I'm going to reset the dormant actions. We are now going to be exclusively using the manifested actions track. So we're only going to have 2 actions per turn, but our characters will be able to play one after the other. So I'm going to go grab here. I had taken the Azazel card out. I was hoping I wouldn't have to take another one out. I don't. So here's Azazel's card. And it says, a horned deceiver who stalks through borrowed faces and raveling night. He covets one soul at a time, stepping through shadows and rifts like open doors. So first of all, you go through the setup. So Nightfall Ascendant. When revealed, replace all lit tokens with dark cubes and place a dark cube in each agent's zone and each rift. So he is throwing darkness absolutely everywhere onto this map, which I didn't think he would do. And I think I was looking at an item that had darkness earlier. I think it was the one that was the lights, but should have probably picked that one. Let me see. I think it was on the bottom of the HQ deck. Yeah, it removes light cubes and dark cubes and zones. Oh well. That would have been nice to have, but at least I've got this one here that is that requires a roll. I get a focused roll instead. That's actually pretty good. So rereading this again. So replace all lit cubes. So we'll start by that. So this one was the cabin, and it slipped off a bit here. So the cabin is now in unnatural darkness. So is the ranger station. And we actually didn't light anything else, so that's good. That's really good. Now, the next thing is we place a dark cube in each agent's zone. So there will now be a dark cube inside the welcome cabin zone and the stone cairn. So those will both be dark. And then each rift will also get one. So that means rift number 6. Rift number 1 already has one. Rift number 4 will get one. I'm just going to put this in the light space here. Rift number 3 and rift number 2. So 6. Yeah, okay, we got them all. All right. So that means that now there's a lot of darkness across the map. The downside of the darkness is that if we start in those zones, even the canine agent will have to roll a sanity die. And so will the tracker, unless she's got her flashlight, which at this point, she is going to lose the minute that one comes off because I got rid of that item. I don't know how that's supposed to work. Maybe I'm supposed to take it off if I take the item off. Quite possibly. But you know what? I think I have to, so I'm going to do that. She started returning to HQ, so it doesn't matter, but I believe that now that she doesn't have a light item, that's got to disappear. That's not good. So now, circle lockdown. When revealed, place a lock in the summoning circle. So the summoning circle will be locked. This lock may only be removed through the unbar the circle banishment ritual step. Agents may not enter or leave this zone while the lock remains. Oh man, that is terrible. This is new because I don't remember this from when the last time I fought Azazel in a previous playthrough. So this is from the latest version of the prototype. Okay, so in my wisdom, I've blocked off the entire other part of the map. Okay. Crap. That's not good. So now, marked prey. When revealed, the agent with the highest sanity becomes the target. So in this case, it will be the tracker. So the tracker becomes the target. Now, the good part is that the Doberman can pull the target off of the tracker, which is excellent. It is never discarded at the end of the demon phase, but may change between agents as normal. If the target is killed, the agent with the highest sanity becomes the target. Azazel always moves towards the target. So we need to get the target onto the Doberman as quick as possible. Now, let's check the banishment ritual. So that gives us the setup, at least for Azazel. It's a fairly simple setup, but this is the big problem because now we can't get through there. So I'm going to read the entry. So Azazel, origin Abrahamic mythology. Azazel, a fallen angel, embodies corruption and chaos. Known for spreading destruction through deceit and temptation, he manipulates the weak and isolates his prey to sow despair. So to banish Azazel, the cunning and deceptive demon knows our rights well. When summoned, Azazel places a barrier around the summoning circle, knowing it is only there that he can be defeated. Agents must locate the anchor rift to breach the circle, or wait for Azazel to capture them. Either way, the barrier must be destroyed from within. Only then, when Azazel returns to claim the space, can the ritual be completed. So we have the malice circle, because Azazel's essence thrives on malevolence and the malicious intent he instills in others. So the banishment relics are the Athame of Absolution, which is the dagger, initiates Azazel's banishment with a blood sacrifice. So the tracker is going to have to essentially cut herself and get blood for this ritual. While the seal of anathema is needed to remove his mystical barriers, so that will help, I guess, to remove the key, and binding chains can slow his advance. Any of these items can then be used to force the fiend to retreat. So perform these steps in order, unless it's optional. So the first step must be performed. So an agent, which in this case will be the tracker, because it's the only human agent in our group, must lose 1 sanity to use the Athame of Absolution on themselves. Then suffer a number of banishment tokens equal to 1 plus the number of living agents. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move Azazel. So this is actually just the generic demon one from the discovery phase. I believe in the final version of the game there will be a standee or whatever it is that has the actual demons on it, because I have a few of them, but I think it's from the first production version where not all the demons were out yet. So or first prototype version, I should say. So this is the one we're going to use. So just picture this as Azazel. He's starting in his summoning circle. So from this perspective, I believe that we should move the target off of the tracker. So I'm going to use the Doberman's 2 actions. I'd actually just forgot to do that. But I'm going to use 1 action here to move the Doberman from here to here. And then I'm going to use the other action to use guard to then pull the target onto the Doberman. So we don't gain any sanity because we're already full. So that essentially finishes the Doberman step. Now, confrontation phase, you're always in manifested actions, which means I get to play with the tracker right away afterwards. So now I think that what we're going to do is we're going to use the first action to use the Athame of Absolution. So that is going to trigger the 1 sanity loss. So she's now going to cut herself with the dagger. And we're going to go into here and we're going to grab the banishment tokens. So these tokens look like this. And on the other side, there's a green eye on one of them. So that is actually the good one. The other ones have these red X's. There's 4 of them. We're only going to be putting 2 out on the board since we're 2 players. So I'm going to mix them here. We got both of them. I don't know which one is which. Let's see here. I have no idea which one's which. So one of them is going to go here on number 5. One of them is going to go here on number 6. Put them in the highest numbered rift that does not contain a summoning circle, and then decrease numerically. So 6 down to 5. If 8 was on the board, we would have put it on 8. That's how it works. So he has not moved yet. He's going to be in the rift closest to the target, which means we're going to be able to put him here because we can see what his first action step is going to be. So we start with that, and now we have to figure out which one is the active rift. So it's either going to be one of those 2, in which case they're close together, so it's good. So now we're going to search the rifts. So an agent in a zone with an unrevealed banishment may investigate, or a specter may reveal it. So we're going to have to start by moving the tracker over here. Unfortunately, that means that we're now out of movements. This is where sometimes items can help to give you some extra stuff that you can do. However, I was thinking of something. The unique ability is all about wild clues, right, for the tracker. However, you may immediately move and or investigate each as a free action. Well, if I'm investigating as a free action, I can do that without doing the clues. So I can move and investigate. So how about instead of using this, I move 1 and then I investigate for free. So by investigating, I'm going to flip this and we have it. Yes. Okay, perfect. So that's great because that's going to give us a huge advantage now. So now that we've found, this is actually going so well, guys. I've had games where everything goes absolutely wrong. So next one here, we have the correct one. And if it's inert, we discard it. If it's active, you have found the source of Azazel's power. Keep it face up and discard all other banishments. So we can go ahead and just discard this right away. So I'll just put that in the tray up here. So now the next thing we have to do is we have to walk the rift. So an agent in the zone with the active banishment token must use and roll the sanity die. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be walking the rift. Okay, guys, I kind of messed this up, so I had to go back about 10 minutes. So if you find something is different on the board than where it was, this I know had 1 action left. It's just because I messed up a little bit when I was reading how to walk the rifts. So now I understand better. So this is where the rift was. I got to use this action here to do walk the rift, and this will move me over to here. Okay, I can either move over to 6 or 4. Originally I was going to move to 4, but if I move there, I have to walk it 2 more times to get to Rift 1. I have to get this token over to Rift 1. So this way, if I move here, which I may end up there anyways because this is on 4, which means that if I go here and my turn and roll sanity, I'll have to go back there anyways, which is what happened in the other version that you guys are not seeing of what I did. So I'm going to bring it here, and this is the now that I understand how to walk the rift, this is what I have to do. I have no choice because this is just going to waste us time. So I'm going to bring it over here. Now, when I get there, I reveal this token. So it's light. This is the hazard token. Now, what that does is it replaces a dark token, which is what was here before, with a lit token. So I'm going to put that over here. And that is going to then cause my human agent to have to roll the sanity die. So it's a 1. So I lose 1 sanity. That brings it down to 6. Then I reveal the cover token, which is exposed. So there's no actual cover there. This one here should just be on the edge. It's a scavenge token. Now I got to walk the rift over to the next one, but I can't do it this turn because I'm out of moves. So now that we are all sort of back to where we should be, I'm going to now play for Azazel. I'm going to get his little red token here for the demon. I'm going to grab it out of here. And I'm going to put on number 1, which is Stalker's Step. Place Azazel in the rift closest to the target. He then moves 2 zones. All agents within 2 zones roll frightened. So I'm going to move him over to here. Or sorry, not here. sorry, number 5, not there, because I get to choose because they're both equally as close. And I will then move into this zone here with the demon. Now, the Doberman's passive ability. When while you are the target, each time the demon would enter your zone, you may roll hindered sanity. So that means you roll it twice. Once, twice. It's 2, so we're going to lose 2. 1, 2. And move one zone as a free action before the demon moves. So we're going to move here, and before the demon moves, we are now over there. Now the demon will move as normal 2. So it's going to go 1, and then on the second movement, Azazel is going to stop because I'm going to use the unique ability here of the Doberman. If the demon would enter your zone, even if it is not your turn, it stops movement, and all agents, including yourself, gain 3 sanity. So that's going to bring me back up to 7, the Doberman back up to 8. Hope I reset everything properly, but I think I did. This may remove breakdown. Nobody's in breakdown. And the demon will go dormant if it's a discovery stage, but it's not. So next is we have to, I believe, look at Azazel's things. So once Azazel is finished moving, which he's now done, all agents within 2 zones roll frightened die roll, sanity die roll. So I'm going to roll frightened, which means that, so this is going to be for the tracker. We have 1. So we lost 1 and the tracker is now frightened. The second one's going to be for the Doberman, and it's 1, which means he's going to become frightened. On the last one, I had actually rolled nothing for the Doberman, which was good, but this is what it is. So now frightened, and we're going to lose a sanity. So now that that's done, I discard 1 event card because we're not playing the demon event. We're just going to make the timer go down. So now it is back to us. So I'm going to reset the actions. So now I need to investigate the circle, or no, sorry, I need to select use with the tracker to get the portal over to here. So I also forgot, guys, I got to place the escape objective. Not that we're going to use it, but I'm just going to do it anyways, just so you guys see how it works. But I forgot to do this at the beginning of the confrontation. So I have to place objective A in the ranger's office. To begin the escape objective, I must investigate in the zone with the objective, then place the escape in the highest numbered rift. So this token will come on, but you have to go to objective A first. So I'll leave that here in case we need to use it, but I don't think so. Now, what I was going back to is that we have a fresh turn now. So Azazel stopped here thanks to the Doberman's ability. Now we got to get over to here. I have to change this to a dark cube because of that light hazard. So the human agent rolls and gets 1 sanity loss. So there's that. So that brings us down there. So we're now at 6 sanity each. Now, what I'm trying to figure out here is what the best way is to get to this summoning circle. So if we make a move where the Doberman goes here, I need for him to have the seal. It doesn't make any sense to have the tracker move away from here. So what we're going to use is we're going to use a strategy here with the binding chains. So there is an optional step here, restrain the evil, where an agent can drop binding chains in their zone or an adjacent zone. And if Azazel would leave that zone, he stops all further movement. Okay, so we're going to use these now because what's going to happen is that so I need to give the seal of anathema to the Doberman, and that's going to basically use an action for the turn. But then I have to use my other action. It's going to be wasted. So seal of anathema is going to be, so I'm going to use 1 action to give this to the Doberman. So the Doberman will take it in a utility slot, and he'll be able to move that into his accessory slots to use on the next, when he starts his turn. That's the first action. So I'm giving that item. Now the second thing I need to do is I'm going to use the binding chains. So I'm going to throw these on the ground, and I'm going to throw them into the amphitheater. I'm going to put the card over here to remind us that the binding chains are in the amphitheater, which means when Azazel moves, he will get the binding chains. He will be stuck in the binding chains and he won't be able to move. So that finishes the tracker's turn. So it was one to give the seal to the Doberman, the other one to move. So now that that's done, we're going to move over to the Doberman's turn. So he is going to take a mad dash for the welcome cabin. So we're going to use both actions. He's going to be able to move 1, 2, 3. And he obviously cannot move into that zone, but we're not going to use the 4th movement. And then because we did get an entity overlap, which it says, I believe here on the dash action, it says you don't trigger it, but if you would have, lose 2 sanity and become frightened. So he's going to go down to 4, and he's already frightened. So it freaked him out to go through the demon's zone. But now he's over here. So now we've effectively finished these two's turns, and I did forget one thing. So I forgot that the tracker did not roll for being adjacent to the demon and for starting in a dark zone. So I'm going to roll twice here. So that's 1 sanity loss and 2 more. So that's 1, 2, 3. So the tracker is now down to 3. The Doberman did run through. We did the entity overlap roll. The Vanguard Caller prevents it from rolling for sanity if it's next to the demon, but I didn't roll for the darkness. So let's roll for that. So that's a 2. Now, because we have the Arcane Fetish, it is focused. So I'll roll again to see if we get a better. Oh, and we got a better roll. We got 0 sanity loss. So we're going to leave that at 4. That's perfect. Now, that covers the stuff that I missed. So now we're going to actually do Azazel's turn. So we're going to go here, and it's Harvester of Light. Azazel moves 2 zones, then places a dark cube in each adjacent zone and in any lit zone. So because of the binding chains, Azazel is stuck there. So those get discarded. These are already dark cubes, and there's no lit zones on the board, which means we don't have to discard any card. So that's great. Now, I'm going to re-up our manifested actions and start the next turn. So hopefully, guys, we'll be able to finish the game here. So I had to look it up because I wasn't sure if we could go through, but I got some help on it, and we figured out that yes. So I can actually go into here and with the tracker, doing the portal jump essentially. So walking the portals. So what we're going to do is we're going to play her first, and with her first action, we are going to use the portal jump feature, which is just using the action, and it's called Walking the Portals in the Codex Daemonum, and we are going to move this here over to number 1. So now the tracker is in the portal with the summoning circle. We now have to roll sanity, which is 1, so she is now down to 2. That is dangerous. Once we're in here, I don't believe there's anything else we need to do. So it is now where it needs to be. And the only other thing we can do, let's see, can we center? We cannot. So there's really no way for us to get any sanity back, which is unfortunate. I would really have liked to get something less than 2 because we can actually go into breakdown now if we have a bad roll. But I think that's about all that there is. So there's not going to be anything else for the tracker's final move because she's already there. If I had been in the fire circle... Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to use something I could have used over here. So before moving over here, I would have been able to use an action to place a lit cube in this zone and in each adjacent zone. Agents in affected zones not in breakdown gain 3 sanity and may place their lit base. So you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this interaction token. So with that action that I didn't use, this would have happened before moving over here. I'm going to place a lit cube here, and I'm going to place a lit cube adjacent over here. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me the 3 sanity back as well. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Then I would have used the other action to jump over here. So that is at least going to give me a little bit of a boost. The interaction cube disappears, but might as well use it, right? Because here it says if I'm in... I can actually place my lit base as well. So that's going to help me on the next turn. Even though I don't have a light, I can place my lit base. So as long as nothing takes it off, I should be good. And that's going to give me some extra light. No, I took one from the box, but here it is. Okay. So now the final thing is I need to figure out how to get that unlocked. So I've used my 2 actions from the tracker. Now the Doberman is going to use the seal which is unbar the circle. So an agent holding the seal and in the same zone as or adjacent to the summoning circle with the active banishment token and the lock must use it to remove the lock. So the banishment token is in here and the Doberman is adjacent. He has the seal, so he can use it. That's the action, and that will remove the lock. So now we can move on to step 5, which is cast out the deceiver. So an agent adjacent to Azazel must use either the Athame of Absolution, the Binding Chains, or the Seal to move Azazel up to 3 zones. So how do we move the Doberman? Next to or within the same zone? Do we use a dash? I think we're going to have to... No, we can't use a dash because it requires 2 actions. So how do we make that work? I think, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the last action to move the Doberman into the summoning circle zone. Let's then move over to Azazel and do the final action, which is Master of Deceit. So Azazel moves 2 zones. So he's going to move towards the target. 1, 2. So he's now adjacent but not overlapping. Then if fate is odd, which it is, place Azazel in the summoning circle. See, so the overlap is going to happen. And the target in his prior zone. Well, his prior zone was here, which means now the he's adjacent. So I believe that this happens at the same time. So there's no actual overlap that happens with the Doberman because he's jumping here. When he jumps here, it's like they do a swap. But now at least the Doberman is still right next to the demon and could use the seal if needed. So then it says if even, place the target. Somebody's like, okay, it's not even, so we don't need to worry about that. So now there's no event cards being ditched, but we do have an entity overlap here. So we're going to move the tracker. We're going to roll the die for the tracker, which is a blank. So it's hindered, frightened, deadly. So hindered being that we have to roll twice and take the worst result. So we're taking the worst result. So we then move 1, 2. Now we are already frightened, so we don't gain that as well. And we don't die because we're not in breakdown. So we then have to move 1 adjacent zone if possible. So we're going to move over here with the Doberman. And that should cover us there. So that should be okay. And now we're going to do our final turn. And here, guys, I think we can win. So first of all, the tracker has the lit base, which means that she does not have to roll for darkness, but she does have to roll for being next to the demon. So there's the roll, and it's a blank. So we're okay there. We didn't lose anything. Now we're going to see if we can finish this off. So we have cast out the deceiver. An agent adjacent to Azazel must use either the Athame of Absolution, which we have here, the Binding Chains, or Seal, to move Azazel up to 3 zones. So we are going to use the use action. So here's 1. And we're going to use the Athame, and it says we may move him, but we will not move him because we need him in the summoning circle zone. So then, if Azazel is in the summoning circle after this effect, he is cast back into the nether. So there we go, guys. We have beat Azazel, and that's effectively the end of the game. So we did pretty good. We got lucky in a lot of rolls. I know I did make a few mistakes, but I think I covered pretty much everything and fixed it. This summoning circle here, or sorry, the fire circle with the interaction token there was huge because I think we would have been in breakdown probably. Yeah, pretty close. Had I not gotten those 3 back, we would have been. So that was a game saver right there, that was usable. So yeah, just a lot of crazy things happened. If I did make any mistakes, let me know in the comments. We can see if, the game maybe would have finished otherwise, but I think that it was pretty good. And there you have it. So that's how you play a full game of Loyal Vigil all the way to the confrontation phase. Honestly, I love this expansion so much. And if you guys are pledging for the base game, please do yourself a favor and at least get this expansion. I haven't tried the second expansion, which is the one for kind of like the campaign game, because I haven't seen that yet, but hopefully soon. And but at least this one here is really, really fun. So there you go, you have it. So how a canine agent plays, you can see sort of the synergy between the two. I use the canine agent to kind of block, go get stuff. It's really fun. But if you enjoyed it, then let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions on the game, I'll be super happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed, guys, and thank you very much for watching the playthrough. I'll see you guys next time.